Today we celebrate Veterans Day. We stand united to thank the veterans for the sacrifices they have made. I would like to thank Edinboro University and Allegheny College for their continued support to our ROTC program. Events like this honor not just recent generations of veterans, but every man and woman who have honorably served since the American Revolution. Veterans, your sacrifices have built the trust between the American public and our military. It is up to us who are still serving to maintain that trust. Thank you for your service. We honor your service through a simple but powerful ceremony. We celebrate the sacrifices of veterans by raising the national colors and mourn the veterans not with us today with a 21-gun salute. We honor the flag and all that it represents. There is no representation on our flag for a person or event. This is important because our flag is a powerful symbol of Americanism and it represents more than any single person or act. It is a representation of our nation. Our flag represents every citizen, but not any one individual. Take a stand. Stand for your national color. We don't or shouldn't stand for the national anthem and our flag for any reason, but to honor our country and those sacrifices that our veterans have made. We stand for the flag and focus on what unites us as Americans. Veterans put us first, and today we put veterans first. From all of the cadre and cadets of the Fighting Scots ROTC Battalion, I wish you a great Veterans Day. Personally, thank you for your service to our nation.
Group, attention. Port, arms. Half right, face. Stand by. Ready, aim, fire. Ready, aim, fire. Ready, aim, fire. Cease, fire. Half left, face. Order, on.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Parker, and I'm a cadet in the Fighting Scot Battalion and a student at Allegheny College. And let me tell you, it's an absolute honor to have the opportunity to speak in front of my peers, cadre, community members, veterans, and others on this hallowed day. You know, in 12 major conflicts, the United States has been represented by roughly 42 million wartime service members. Of that 42 million, there are roughly 22 million living veterans. Of that 42 million, 1,430,290 were wounded in combat. And of that 42 million, 1,190,000 gave their lives in combat. And while each and every one of these men and women had their own individual beliefs, their own individual values, and their own individual creed, they all share one thing in common. the intrepid willingness to sacrifice the lives they had lived and the lives they were going to live in the defense of our nation's liberty. So when considering what Veterans Day means to the cadets of the Fighting Scott Battalion, it's really quite impossible to put into words a sense of reverence that we feel during, say, a military science class, or a leadership lab, or a Veterans Day ceremony, when we get the opportunity to don the same uniform that those 42 million willing men and women once wore. I'm privileged to be surrounded each and every day by a group of motivated cadets who understand and respect the importance in acknowledging and learning from the servicemen and women who have come before us. Though today, Veterans Day, is a day where we take time to raise flags and give speeches in honor of our veterans, we as cadets strive every day to embody the values held by those that have made our nation's fighting forces what they are today. These characteristics: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage have all been embodied to the same high standard by those who have served. And as we proceed forward as cadets towards our eventual careers as officers in our nation's military, my fellow cadets and I aim to emulate that same high standard. The role of our veterans is essential to the continuation and preservation of our nation's most valued attribute, its spirit. As we live and experience what seem like incredibly divisive and polarized times in 2020, it's our nation's spirit that has proved to continually unify our people. Even for those that seem to have what seem like fatal differences, this spirit unifies them. While our veterans have already given so much in terms of service, what they also provide this country as a beacon of unification for our nation is powerful beyond measure. The value of a nation's spirit is directly correlated and deeply rooted in those who have sacrificed for it. While fireworks, or an Army-Navy football game, or a picnic with friends are all wonderful symbols of the American spirit, none of them provide even close to the same level of pride and vigor to the American people as do the veterans that have given their times, and in some instances their lives, for the preservation of this land. We're afforded these celebrations because of the sacrifices made by the brave men and women that this day commemorates. And while at times evil has sought to strip us of our nation's most sacred right, liberty and justice for all men, women, races, and creeds, that evil has always been met by an immovable force of the bravest men and women this country has to offer. My fellow cadets and I are humbled to one day serve upon that immovable force. But today, we are honored to share in thanking and recognizing veterans everywhere. And while times may pass and the world may change, from generation to generation, the very beginning has always started the same: an internal calling to sacrifice, to lead, to put country before self. It takes a remarkable human being to accept this calling, and on this hallowed day, we celebrate those that have. To put it quite simply, we are because they were. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak before you today, and though it is virtual given the circumstances, I wish you all a very happy and healthy Veterans Day. Thank you.
My name is Cadet Girvin. I am an MS4 here at Edinboro University. Ladies and gentlemen, the Edinboro Fighting Scots Battalion thanks you for taking the time to be here with us today as we celebrate the brave hearts from all the sailors, Marines, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and soldiers. We will always remember the fine men and women who have sacrificed so much for our freedom and liberties that we have today. On this day, 102 years ago, World War I, or the Great War, ended at the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month. Armistice Day began under President Woodrow Wilson. He stated reflections of this day will be filled with pride and heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing which has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations. It was not until after World War II that the government changed the name to Veterans Day. So who is a veteran? They are soldiers, Marines, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and sailors. But that's not only what they are to me. They are freedom fighters, answering the call of duty, responding to the Americans' prayers, and most importantly, they are warriors and sacrifices to help fight for our great country, the United States of America. Throughout the years of our country, we faced many challenges that we will forever recognize. Let's take a look back at history, the American Revolutionary War that took place from 1775 to 1783, taking an estimated 6,500 American lives. How about World War II, another war that took hundreds of thousands of lives? Now the war we fight today, the war on terror. This war continues to take countless lives that we will never forget. What does Veterans Day mean to the Edinboro Battalion? We celebrate Veterans Day every time we do PT, labs, class, and field training. We keep in the back of our mind the reason why we do this. We understand there have been sacrifices made by many men and women That is our duty to work hard every day to carry out what these brave warriors started. From every push-up, training exercise to every excruciating foot march, we will never stop, as it does not matter how hard it can be. We will always have the motivation from these fearless men and women that have made the ultimate sacrifice for us Americans to sleep safe at night. The Edinboro Fighting Scots Battalion will continue to hold the values and traits that these men and women built for us. I can speak on behalf of the battalion, and we would like to say thank you to those veterans and their families for making the ultimate sacrifices for us and our families. As future officers, we will continue to hold ourselves to high standards and make sure we give back to those who gave to us. Again, thank you to all, and God bless the United States of America.